As Sarah prepared to bid farewell to her precious feline, Whiskers, she was caught off guard when he curled his soft paws around her neck for one final, lingering embrace. The veterinarian, touched by their poignant parting, paused before carrying out the final procedure. It was in that moment that he voiced words that sent waves of disbelief through the room, leaving Sarah in shock. These were the last words anyone expected to hear at this point in the process. "We're erring." The veterinarian's assistant and Sarah herself were equally taken aback. What was he implying? Was he referring to sending Whiskers off to his final rest? They had been preparing for this moment for almost a week. Had there been a sudden change of heart? Perplexed and eager for answers, Sarah asked the vet to explain. He confirmed his belief that it would be wrong to go ahead with the procedure. Confused, Sarah demanded to know why this sudden change of plan. Whiskers, aged in cat years, was showing signs of dwindling strength week by week. He was plagued with hip and dental issues and had even begun developing a growth, the nature of which was uncertain. Everyone assumed it was Whiskers' time to pass. This was by no means an easy decision for Sarah, as Whiskers was the sole comforting presence in her life at this time. But she didn't want to prolong his existence merely for her comfort if he was in pain. That would be selfish. Regardless of her arguments and emotions, the vet seemed resolved in his decision. Sarah, with Whiskers still embraced, sought clarity in her cat's eyes. The cat, remaining oblivious to the situation, gave nothing away. Or had he sensed an impending event? Was he intuiting an end? Their recent hug was a truly special moment that neither had experienced before, a clear expression of affection and understanding. Could this be the reason behind the vet's sudden reversal? Sarah tried to confirm this from the veterinarian, but he rebuffed her suggestion. Yet he was still reluctant to reveal his reasoning behind this sudden shift in treatment. He simply asked that Sarah and Whiskers revisit in a week to reassess the situation. Sarah cast a glance at Whiskers, heart heavy as she wondered if he could even last that long. But there was little else she could do. She couldn't ignore the vet's advice. It seemed that, for now, all Sarah could do was bring her feline friend home. However, she was unsure of how to process this unexpected twist. On one side, she had just been gifted more moments with her most valued companion, something she would have longed for earlier that day. However, she was uncertain if she could even cherish this time, knowing what kind of condition Whiskers could potentially be in. Whiskers himself seemed perfectly at ease, merely trying to endure the car journey home, and probably longing for either his dish of food or his preferred place to doze off. Sarah's thoughts were overrun with expectation as she awaited information about Whiskers. Her concerns intensified when she received an unexpected text from Tina, a helper at the vet's office. The urgency in Tina's demeanor suggested something serious was underway. Upon Tina's arrival, Sarah, filled with nerves, readied her home for the examination. Tina's meticulousness and efficiency during the checkup offered a blend of unease and hope for Sarah. Every tool in operation Tina used seemed to amplify Sarah's fears, yet she held on to a flicker of optimism with each passing moment. As Tina methodically assessed Whiskers, Sarah's unease grew stronger, her hope delicately hanging against the impending test results. The silence between them was deafening, putting Sarah on the brink as she awaited Tina's verdict. Tina announced unexpected news. The test results didn't align with a severe prognosis for Whiskers. A wave of relief swept over Sarah, though perplexity still hung in the air as she tried to reconcile this with their prior worries. Both ladies were confounded by the discrepancy, prompting a conversation about their next possible actions. They pondered potential reasons for the vet's conclusions, ultimately deciding to delve deeper. Sarah proposed reaching out to other pet owners and combing through online feedback for insights, while Tina opted to examine medical records for inconsistencies. With a clear strategy ahead, they embarked on their journey for answers, resolved to advocate for Whiskers' well-being. Tina, making use of her veterinary assistant experience, scrutinized medical records for signs of negligence, while Sarah, proficient with technology and communication, connected with the community for testimonials. They established timelines, recognizing possible hurdles ahead. Aware of the risks, they moved forward cautiously, protecting their identities and correspondence. Their dedication to ethical treatment of animals strengthened their resolve. Ready for any hurdles, Sarah composed a message to draw the community's attention, asking for experiences at the vet, while Tina put together a set of queries focusing on treatment outcomes and invoicing. Their aim was a supportive network for collective inquiry. As Sarah focused on community interaction, Tina explored clinic computers and unearthed a hidden memo in Whiskers' record. Weighing the breach of confidentiality, she accessed the record and discovered commands to feign health issues. The order coming from the vet took them by surprise. Tina recorded the memo, understanding the severity of intentional dishonesty. Revealing the proof, Sarah pushed for action. They strategized to safely expose the vet's unprofessional conduct, realizing the possible dangers. Tina, acknowledging her responsibility towards animal care, pledged to use the evidence to stop such unethical behaviors. Armed with this proof, they readied themselves to confront the vet, seeking legal counsel and assembling their discoveries for a potential face-off. This revelation encouraged them into action. Sarah and Tina sat at the kitchen counter, surrounded by memos and records, preparing inquiries and addressing all areas of their discoveries. Sarah practiced her questions out loud while Tina arranged the proof in a clear timeline, expecting possible retorts from the vet. In peaceful moments, Sarah stabilized her nerves with deep breathing, comforted by Tina's supportive companionship. Recognizing their emotional journey, they reaffirmed their dedication to Whiskers and the truth, ready to confront the vet armed with facts and righteousness. They planned to meet the vet in a neutral place, structuring their dialogue and contemplating recording it for accuracy. As they prepared, their relationship deepened, strengthened by a mutual mission and reciprocal respect. Sarah sought encouragement from her husband but received a nonchalant reply, feeling unheard yet finding peace in Tina's unwavering faithfulness. Reviewing their strategy, Tina proposed inspiration, emphasizing the intricacies of personal relationships during a difficult situation. Sarah's determination deepened, noticeable in her steady hands as she managed evidence folders, showing her dedication to achieving fairness for Whiskers. With their proof primed, they reviewed their checklists, validating details for the meeting with the vet, ensuring readiness for action. Standing united, they shared a moment of solidarity, ready to shift from planning to execution, joined by a mutual objective. Sarah redirected focus to the organization of the proof, reinstating her devotion to achieving fairness for Whiskers, notwithstanding her husband's indifference. Pondering over Tina's consistent support, Sarah discovered clarity in her principles of loyalty, trust, and advocating for those without a voice. As they got ready, Sarah and Tina boosted each other's courage, strengthening their tactics and unity. Their comprehensive planning was not merely to stand up for Whiskers, but also for the well-being of all animals under the vet's care. Armed for their discussion with the vet, Sarah and Tina faced him with their collected data, probing about the objective behind his actions. The vet conceded his intentions, explaining that it was to make things easier for his allergic brother, who was in a relationship with Sarah and could hardly visit due to Whiskers. Facing the moral quandary, he prioritized his brother's affections over the cat's welfare, admitting the mishap in his judgment, something he sincerely regretted now. This decision was ultimately cast aside because of the affectionate embrace between Whiskers and Sarah. It touched his emotions so profoundly that he simply could not proceed with it. Sarah was taken aback as the vet revealed the linkage between his actions and her spouse. The revelation that her personal life was tangled up with Whiskers' predicament sent her head spinning. The veterinarian's confession illuminated how deeply private motives had jeopardized his professional principles, guiding him to make choices that put Whiskers in harm's way. Sarah grappled with digesting the betrayal. The truth, weighty and painful, struck her like a bolt. She had entrusted the vet with Whiskers' life, and to learn of his dishonesty, particularly connected to someone she cherished, was a tough blow. However, among the chaos, her determination to advocate for Whiskers and pursue justice became even more potent. The atmosphere crackled with tension as Sarah and Tina pressed the vet for accountability. They insisted on explicit actions to correct the damage done to Whiskers, underlining the demand for transparency and ethical conduct in the future. The vet's admission of his blunder marked a vital step toward rectifying the wrongs and setting an example of responsibility. As the vet provided more detail about his motives, Sarah and Tina obtained a deeper awareness of the intricate circumstances. Regardless of his remorse, the vet's actions had put Whiskers in a precarious situation, motivated more by personal favoritism than medical necessity. This understanding was pivotal for Sarah and Tina, emphasizing the hurdles they faced in navigating the intertwined personal and professional ethics in their pursuit of justice. As Tina packed her personal items from her locker at the care facility, she did so with intent, carefulness in her every motion. In her hand, she held her resignation letter. The gist of it was her unwillingness to be part of a place that gambled with principles of care and ethics. It was a bittersweet feeling as she delivered her resignation to her superior, her stare unwavering, filled with resolve. Triumphantly, she exited the facility for the last time, her professionalism shining through. At her dining table, Sarah sat surrounded by documentation, legal papers strewn around. Speaking with her attorney over the phone, they discussed the impending legal measures to be taken against the facility. The evidence was thoroughly studied, leaving no stone unturned. Manifest in Sarah's voice was a strong resolution, a determination to navigate the path to justice, spotlighting the grave wrongdoings of the healthcare facility. Sarah found herself face-to-face with the brother of the veterinarian, her former husband. They met at a modest coffee shop for their final interaction. It was a swift one, where Sarah elucidated her choice to sever their bond, underlining her urgency to draw a clear line from the deceptive practices he was part of. Not without sorrow, they said their goodbyes, marking a necessary end to this period of Sarah's life and a step toward healing from the mistrust. Whiskers, Sarah's pet, blissfully oblivious to the human commotion, reposed comfortably in his preferred corner by the window. Sarah, looking over at him, couldn't help but smile, in spite of the storm surrounding her. Whiskers represented strength and loyalty, their bond reminding her time and again of the worth of the battle she had taken on. To her, he was more than just a companion. He was an embodiment of perseverance, motivating her to champion the truth. As preparations for the court proceedings were set in motion and she redefined her personal bonds, Sarah discovered some tranquility. Together with Tina, who she had found solace in and considered a good friend throughout this ordeal, they took a moment to reflect on the path they had traveled. The feeling of finality and the sweetness of signaling an end was liberating. Their efforts to bring justice were validated. They had risen against indiscretions, emphasizing the significance of honesty and the need to stand for those who were voiceless.